All right, our last question. We start with Mr. Schick. Written in a positive note, I guess. When you're elected in April, what will be the first 3 tasks you wish to accomplish as an alderman?
First, I'll I think I'll go to Little Cancun for, I think, some margaritas. Okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is, I am not known in this community that well. So I have to really dig in to get to know more people. And I have to know a lot more history of the community, seeing as I just drew my papers, drew them in late December. So I really have to get to know the people and what this community is really all about. And the other thing is I do want to have, and I think my last thing is that my past has been filled with taking people into terrible places. And I've had to do it by team play. And I hope to bring to the organization, and I call it an organization, the city council, whatever you want to call it, an air, if you will, that the only way we're going to accomplish the thing I just talked about with our, as far as our getting some sort of sports facilities in, I do believe the only way we're going to accomplish it is by thinking out of the box and thinking as a team, and making sure our council meetings don't last for 4 hours over some of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in the history of ridiculous. If I ever ran a meeting like that in the daggum military, I would be thrown right out of the office. So I think we need to do things as a team, and as far as I'm concerned, I think we can pull off everything we want to do with a little bit of work.
Okay, next up. Ms. Wilhelm, when you're elected in April, what will be the first 3 tasks you wish to accomplish as an alderperson?
Well, I think our most challenging task is going to be our budget. And I guess I'll do my best to tackle those financial challenges and by minimizing our impacts as the best we can. Hopefully the room you're sitting in here tonight will be available to you in the future, but that might not happen. Those are the things we might have to cut. So I think we're going to have to ask the people, if it comes down to cutting services, what exactly you want to see cut. I want to finish the outstanding projects that I've been working on. I have several different things, drainage issues, safety issues, road repairs, 51st Street, there's been a lot of concerns with that. We'll continue my communication with my constituents and listening to your concerns and continue to be a strong voice for you, and continue representing the people of Franklin by promoting responsive, accessible, and efficient city government. I'd like to find solutions to the constituents' issues and be fiscally responsible during these times.
Okay, we come around to Steve Taylor. When you're elected in April, what will be the first 3 tasks you wish to accomplish as an alderperson?
I guess just to name a couple, number 1 would be to continue to be responsive to the constituents. And, you know, I know my opponent took offense to some of my literature, but I was asked when I ran that they wanted someone more vocal and more assertive. Not to say that he wasn't assertive on certain issues, but the fact was, across the board, more visible. And I think I've done that. And I think I've been very accessible to the needs. I know there's a number in the audience today that worked firsthand on projects that were sitting there when I came on board. Secondly, using the development process review committee that I created a year ago in January to help to continue with the development process, to try to make things simpler for developers to come here. You want to get your tax base, you want to get more revenue in here, you need to get businesses in here, and trying to streamline the process is definitely going to work. Being proactive instead of reactive. I've talked about some things that have made people a little bit irritated with me. I've had a lot of criticism for talking about forward-thinking leadership, and I'm going to continue to do that because I think it's right. You can't just bury your head in the sand, hope that things are going to get better, and then 5 years from now pull your head out and say, well, look, everybody's passed us by. So I'm going to continue to be proactive and look down the road. And then transparency. I know Mr. Schick talked about a 4-hour meeting. For the 3 months when I was sitting in the audience, when I was campaigning, those meetings were done in an hour and a half tops. very little discussion. They were like slam dunk issues. I don't know if it was all predetermined or what, but there was a lack of transparency. And I think when Alderman Wilhelm and I got on board, that changed. And now continue to make these meetings last longer, if that means getting the truth out about what's going on in the city.
Okay, next, Mr. Kosevich, when you're elected in April, what will be your first 3 tasks you wish to accomplish as an alderperson?
Number one, I think I would like to work on uniting the community, building community spirit and community pride. We talk about the development that we want to have happen in our city. It's not going to happen without people caring about what is going on around them. Just to give you a little example, I belong to St. Paul's Church on 51st and Rawson. We're in the process of building a new church. Should be completed by Easter. And it's been quite an effort over the last few years to get the congregation enthused enough to get the money up front and take the loans out and start the building process going. Once you get things rolling, people get excited, they get enthusiastic, they see something happening, and they can really get behind it. And so if we're talking about trying to put together a community center or something like that, we need to build community spirit. You know, and as far as the council, and some of these meetings that run long, it isn't because they need to run long, it's because some people dwell on issues too long. It's not an issue of transparency as to what it was versus what it is now. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and berate anybody, but I've been to a few council meetings over the last few months, and some of these issues just drag on and on and on. The same thing is said over and over, and some people have thin skin, and if somebody says something that disagrees with them, they start whining or pouting or get abusive verbally, and that's not what we want. We want professionals on the council, people who are mature enough to be even-tempered, to not sit there and yell at their constituents or resort to name-calling or whatever else goes on. You know, we want to be professional people up there. We want to represent the citizens of our district and of the entire city. Every council member is one of 6. So what you say and do affects your particular district, but it also affects the rest of the city. You have 1/6 of the vote on anything that happens in the city, whether it's economic development or anything. So it's very important to be a team player. Thank you very much. Please vote for me in April 5th.
He broke the, what was it?